€75 million on the table. And Real Madrid said no without blinking. Meanwhile, a rookie just arrived and is already benching the captain. And it's not just any captain. And hold on, because there's still a fired-up player saying he's been waiting for this day for a long time, while another one might be walking out the door for an offer of $65 million. And there's more a-bomb about a possible $100 million deal that seemed certain, but completely fell apart. You won't want to miss this. But before we dive in, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Here it's Real Madrid every single day, with hot news, hardcore fan opinions, and zero fluff. Let's go, Madridistas! Real Madrid simply looked at a €75 million offer and gave a loud and clear response: no way. Yes, my friend. $75 million for Aurelian Tuamini, our midfield wall, and the club brushed it off like it was pocket change. According to Fishages, a Premier League giant, and all signs point to Arsenal, came in strong, opened the wallet, had the contract ready, and knocked on the Bernabeu's door thinking they could just sweet-talk their way to getting the Frenchman. But they were completely wrong. The response was cold, direct, and left no room for doubt. Not for sale. Not now, not later. Not for 75, not for 100. Tuamini is untouchable. And it makes perfect sense. Xabi Alonso sees Tuamini as an absolutely irreplaceable piece in the system he wants to implement at Real Madrid. He's the only player in the squad with the natural profile to play as a holding midfielder, a guy with physicality, game-reading ability, defensive presence, and quality on the ball. In the Club World Cup, he was one of the standouts, playing almost like a third center-back in the build-up, fitting perfectly into the Spanish coach's new tactical setup. And more than that, it's not just the club that wants him to stay, he wants to stay too. Tuamini is fully committed to the project, knows how important it is to play for a club that's always competing for everything, and has already made it clear that he has zero interest in leaving right now. He wants to make history in white, compete in the Champions League, lift trophies, and become a legend at the Santiago Bernabeu. This season is shaping up to be a marathon, and the Frenchman is going to be one of this team's engines. There's no one in the squad today who can replace him. As long as there's a dream of winning in the locker room, Tuamini needs to be on the pitch. He's more than just a player, he's a key piece in an ambitious plan. And now I want to hear from you, true merengue fan. Would you accept that $75 million offer? Or do you also think selling Tuamini now would be a huge mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you have to say, and let me make it clear, I wouldn't sell him, not a chance. This is one of those that completely shifts the transfer window's course. Rodrigo, yes, our number 11, was being closely monitored by Arsenal, and behind the scenes it looked like the deal could bring in up to €100 million for Real Madrid. It was the club's biggest chance to make a major sale, the kind that shakes up the entire season plan. The idea was clear: if the right offer came, Real wouldn't fight tooth and nail to keep Rodrigo. Not because he's weak, far from it, but because the squad keeps getting deeper, and the club knew that a sale at this level would free up space and cash to go after strategic targets, especially a top-tier defensive midfielder and center-back. But according to what Diario AS reported, the English club simply blew their budget after several big money signings in recent weeks. The result? They backed out of the Rodrigo deal. Now Arsenal's focus has completely shifted to Eberechi from Crystal Palace and Anthony Gordon, the Newcastle standout. With that, the Brazilian's name has been scratched off the Gunners' priority list. And that's where things get tricky. Because without Arsenal in the picture, the other options aren't exactly exciting. Tottenham did inquire, but they're not offering Champions League or a project that interests the player. And Liverpool? So far, nothing concrete. In other words, Rodrigo is probably staying. But here comes the big dilemma of the season. Stay to be what? A guaranteed starter? A luxury bench player? A rotation piece? This soap opera is far from over. But one thing is certain: Real Madrid has a top-quality player on their hands. They just need to decide what to do with him. This one caught everyone by surprise. Real Madrid has already decided who will start the season as the first-choice right-back, and the chosen one is not Dani Carvajal. Yes, you heard that right. The captain, the symbol, the warrior of so many battles, will start the year on the bench. Taking the position is none other than Trent Arnold, the new signing from Liverpool, who arrived in Madrid full of confidence, impressing in training and gaining the total trust of Xabi Alonso. According to the newspaper AS, Real Madrid didn't even wait for his contract to end to bring the English right back. They preferred to pay financial compensation to Liverpool just to guarantee his presence already at the Club World Cup. Such was the club's interest in the player's profile. And now it's clear why they were in such a hurry. Trent is the right back Alonso always wanted. A modern player, with refined technique, advanced tactical understanding, and above all, intelligence on the ball. In the new Merengue coach's system, fullbacks are not just defenders, they're disguised midfielders, directly involved in offensive build-up, cutting inside, becoming playmakers, and even controlling the tempo of the match. And in that role, Trent shines. While Carvajal is more defensive, strong in challenges and positioning, Trent brings something few fullbacks in the world offer: vertical passing, vision, and the ability to speed up the game in just 3 touches. The difference in style between the two is clear. Carvajal is a war tank. Trent is a maestro disguised as a right-back. And even with Carvajal fully recovered from his cruciate ligament injury and hungry to play, the coaching staff made the decision to start the season with the Englishman in the starting lineup. Of course, nothing is set in stone. The season will be long, full of matches, travel, and competitions. And Carvajal's experience, the respect he commands in the locker room, and his commitment on the field are still huge assets within the squad. Brahim Diaz received a simply insane offer of 65 million euros coming straight from Saudi Arabia. Yes, you heard that right. 65 million on the table for a player who, not long ago, was Carlo Ancelotti's 12th man and who now has even more space in the plans of the new boss, Xabi Alonso. And it doesn't stop there. According to Fishages, the Saudi club didn't just show up with a check in hand. They came in with an ambitious project, the kind that turns a player into a local idol overnight. They offered Brahim star status, a sky-high salary, a central role in the team, and the promise of being the reference name of the entire project. A combo that, for many players, would be simply irresistible. But we're talking about a guy who thinks differently. Even without being a guaranteed starter, Brahim is a valuable wildcard in the Real Madrid squad. He plays on the wings, through the middle, helps in creation, and is one of the few who comes off the bench with real hunger. He's got technique, grit, and a bond with the fans that grew a lot last season. The guy is only 25 years old, at the physical, technical, and mental peak of his career. And this offer, as expected, shook things behind the scenes at the Bernabeu. After all, it's a lot of money. And the club knows that, with growing competition in the squad, keeping everyone happy will be a challenge. But there's one very important detail: Jude Bellingham is out at the start of the season, recovering from surgery. That opens up a huge space in midfield, and Brahim stands out as one of the main candidates to take that spot in the first few matches. In other words, he could start the season as a starter, with minutes, rhythm, and responsibility. And that's exactly why the board is considering renewing the Spanish-Moroccan's contract, protecting the player and making it clear that he's part of the long-term plan. It's not just to fill a gap while Bellingham returns. The idea is to give him continuity, tactical involvement, and more protagonism. Brahim himself has made internal statements making it clear: "I want to win at Real Madrid. I'm here to fight, not to run away from competition." And that says a lot about his mindset. But let's be honest, 65 million euros plus world-class salary equals major temptation. Even more so when the player knows that, despite everything he brings to the table, he still runs the risk of losing space as the season progresses, especially if the club brings in new signings or internal competition heats up once all the injured players are back. The question is direct: Madridista, will Brahim resist the million-dollar temptation of Saudi football? Or will he keep his feet on the ground, trust his skills, and bet everything on becoming a starter at the most successful club on the planet? So, Madridista, are you pumped about this squad? And all this explosive news? Then subscribe to the channel right now. Here it's Real Madrid every day, straight from the heart and the voice. Hot info, real opinions, and a whole lot of white blood. Hala Madrid.